Welcome back to the shop. Crash repairs, volume 8. All right. Last we left off was getting the landing gear plates ready to go. Um, so off camera, I kind of worked on the hatch a little bit, and what I did, hold on. Oh, all right. So now we're closing in on the finish here. We're going to be done with the repairs. I could turn it back over to Will. Yeah, we'll be able to give it back to Will, and he can start the finishing process. So it'll be a little bit of a short video. Um, what we're looking to do is finish this piece off to cover the landing gear plate. I'll show you what I did here. This actually came up pretty nice. I was pretty happy with this. Let's see. So what I did when I cut the piece off of the mold here, and I made a former from the mold. So now it's like, how am I going to hold this on? So I had the plywood plate here, and right now I glued 2 pieces of brass to it, and I fit this piece up. So now what we're going to do is be able to hold it on with 2 bolts. So the brass is a little bit proud, and all I do is line it up, and then I just push down on it a little bit. And I got 2 hole marks on it, and I will cut those out now, and then I'll glue this on and finish sanding in. So same size tubing that I put in there, I used some brass tubing, 1/4 inch. I just sharpen the tube. Today's video will be short. I mean, not a lot of work today. I will put the superfil on, I think, today after I do this. So with the sharpened copper tube, just kind of push through. It's so nice when you sharpen the tube up, a fresh sharpened tube. It cuts right through the hole. So hopefully this lines up pretty close. We have to open it up a little bit. You can fit it in. So we're pretty close. And what I do is just kind of fit it around it a little bit. Gotta just open up this hole a little bit. So just take your X-Acto and just skim it a little bit. Yeah, that lines up pretty good. Okay, so now what I'll do is take some TA and I will CA these pieces in. So if you want to get the fit up to where you want it. The thin CA and some thick CA. But I put a B to thick CA around it, or medium. And I kind of just work it in here. Okay, and that's our fit up there. That's pretty good. Now I have the brass a little bit proud, so you got to sand it in. Now what I want to do is I'll use my Dremel on it, but I can cut the brass a little bit faster. And now what you have and that's what you have now. Nice piece. So I had 3 bolts here. So now I always leave one bolt in so you can hit it centered where you want it to hold it in place. And this way locating it's a lot easier. So now I just gotta fan these in. Well, these are brass. They will heat up pretty quickly. So just sneak up on it with this. I mean, you can hand sand it. You'll be there a while, but yeah, pretty good. You just want to sneak up on it. All right. Just close. That's really close. It's almost flush, and then we'll finish it off. And when you don't hear that brass sound anymore, you've sanded it enough. So that's pretty good. Now we'll reinstall it back on. This is a good way to kind of get your landing gear in and still have a nice look to it. And that's pretty good. Okay. I just got some final sanding to do on it. Now let's see how this works. So, for sanding in purposes, I need something the same thickness as the landing gear. I mean, you can always sand it with the landing gear in place. Um, that'll work too. 163. Let's see. Got it here. 115. All right, 136. I just need another 30 thousandths. Oh, too much. 165. Okay. All right. So we got the spacer in there that's the same equivalent of the landing gear, so hold it about in the right spot. And that's really so you don't tighten and you get a better fit up. I mean, you can just sand it with the landing gear in place. Okay. So we'll just sand this in. All right. The thing is, I want to clean up this line a little. Yeah, overall good up, good fit up. All right, and that's how I do the landing. That's how I'm doing the landing gear plate on this one. Really like the way it came out. Um, since we have two sets of holes, so we can move the gear a quarter inch forward, it's even set up in there. All we have to do is go like that, and there's enough room in there to slide them in. So really nice and versatile. All right, and that's us right there. But what I want to do is I want to cut it flush with the plywood plate. Let's see if we can do this without really screwing this up too much. So the plywood plate here is a little bit proud, and I want to cut it just so this is right even with the plywood plate. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use superfil. I'm just going to fill that little bit with superfil and sand it flush. So that's our good. So the one less fit up. And that's a good fit up. I don't even have to look at it, drops right in. It's too good to be true. Yeah. That's it. So a little bit of sanding in here. That was pretty good there. That's what you end up with. All right, so now we'll take the landing gear plates off. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use the superfil. Got a couple spots to fill in on the bottom and around this thing. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Let me just get it out. All right, so superfil, part A, part B, 2-to-1. I use a scale to mix it. You can, not that critical. This stuff is really good. It's very light. So we'll mix up. I'll mix some up here. I always end up mixing much more than I need. I'm actually getting down on this 9 grams. Believe it or not, that goes a long way. 10 grams. So now we just need 5 of the other. It's a good Christmas gift. I'll have to put it on my list here. I got a good refill. Christmas is coming. Right. The other thing that's important is clean off the, either use a different knife or clean it off. Because if you get the blue and the white mixed together, it will activate in your jar. All right, so now I got 10 grams here. I need 5 of this. Now what you gotta do is mix some of this up. This is the resin part of it. There we go. 15 grams right there. All right. Now all you gotta do is you gotta mix it really thoroughly. And you get like a light bluish looking color. And it'll be consistent. You'll see no dark spots or light spots in it. and this stuff dries in a few hours. I always leave it overnight. It's always sandable the next day. Uh, This is 15 grams. It should about half an ounce. So you'll see this stuff goes pretty far. But I do like to use room key cards or things like that. I find they work best. Rag with some lacquer thinner alcohol just so you can wipe off any things that you don't like. But yeah, so then you just start in the spots you don't like. And I'm always somewhat careful. I try not to put too much on, and it just sands right off. That is the beauty of the stuff. It sands pretty well. And again, you're going to sand a lot of this off. So a couple spots up front I didn't like. And this stuff's got a good working time to it. A lot of this will get sanded off. So trying to get it close to the shape I want. Nothing wrong with having more on because then you're going to sand it and blend it in. And I do have a fillet tool. So Jim Lee makes these. They're on a dowel with a ball on it. These are really good for fillets. So what you do is just lay the material in there. Uh, Popsicle stick works well too to get the material in, especially in the fillets. Now you can. I'm doing such a small fillet. Um, you can tape them, but I'm doing such a small spot. Like for me, it's just not worth it. I have way more material on here than I need in those spots, but that's okay. Um, you can always use your fingers too. The other thing you do is you can, if you don't like something, you can always take a little alcohol on the rag and wipe this stuff off. And again, I'm just leaving it crowd in a bunch of spots. Probably more than I need in those spots. But, there was a spot in the back there was a divot, so I just took care of it on here. All right. I had a deal here. Just keep going around. Okay, and that's the big stuff on the bottom. Now to carefully flip it over. You know what? I got to get the other stand. See, this may be better. No, it's not a good thing. Little ding in the outboard wing here. Might as well fill it in while I have the stuff. And the better you shape it in, obviously, the better it is. Hit alcohol or lacquer thinner. Clean it up. Then we'll flip it over. I just want to make sure I don't stick any of this. So I definitely want to finish up the nose. Put a little bit extra in the nose area. I'm going to really work on blending it in the way I want it. Hatch. I got a trick to do with a hatch. What I think is a trick. Let me finish this up first. And then I'll probably have to mix up some more to do the hatch. Now we'll switch it to the stuff on. Finish the other side. I may have enough to do half. We'll see. If not, I'll mix a little more. Now, to get a good fit up on the hatch, what I found is this stuff does not stick to Scotch tape. So what I'll do Alright, so I put Scotch tape on the outside there. Now I'm going to cut off the edge here. So the cleaner this edge, the better. Now what I'll do is we'll do the same thing on the back side. Now, put the Scotch tape all the way around, just making sure the edge is clean. Because up here is where it needs the most work is in the front. Now, I think I have just enough with it. And all I'm doing is pushing this in that crack. That's there. Ooh, it's gonna be close. So we're gonna be real close here. Let's see. Probably should just mix some more up. Yeah, I should probably mix more, but I'm gonna just force it here. I'm gonna make it. There's one spot I don't like. I'll just touch it up. Now we just got to let this dry. Here, now once this all dries, you just lightly sand it, and you'll be able to get the hatch off. You sand up to the tape, or you start to peel the tape up, the hatch will come up.